Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. My name is Ross Benjamin of rbwins.com. And like every Tuesday throughout football season and possibly basketball as well, we're going to be joined by Mr. Sean Higgs from picksandparleys.net. Sean, how's it going, my friend?
All right. We got our first week of, I guess, your real college football under our belts. And now we got NFL in a couple days. So
yeah, I'm especially looking forward to that game on Thursday evening between the Rams and the Bills. Pretty high total for a season opener, but it's justified. Interesting to see if Buffalo can live up to the hype and how the Rams react as defending world champions.
Yeah, hype all over Buffalo. Favorite to win the Super Bowl. Defending champs were a fave. Now they're a little home dog. Should be a good game. I got Buffalo on the money line, about 130-ish. I could have had them play. I don't know. I waited. Dumb. But now I'm a little worried because everybody's all over them.
Yeah.
I'm on them more because I think as much as Darnold and Rams defense, I just think the Bills defense is good on all levels with just really good players, not just a one stud on a level.
Yeah. The only concern I have is Tre'Davious White.
I don't know. Maybe it's more than what they're saying.
Yeah. My concern with Buffalo is at the corner position right now. Being in Western New York, I got a pretty good pulse on what's going on there, like anybody would in their area if they're a football fan. But Tre'Davious White, the all-pro cornerback who blew out his knee last year Thanksgiving night against New Orleans, is not going to play in the first 4 games of the year. He's on the PUP list. And, you're starting a rookie in Kaiir Elam in a 7th-round draft choice. And Dane Jackson, who's performed well beyond his draft status. But having said that, it's still a concern from Buffalo's standpoint. It should be a great game. And, if all else fails, Ozzy Osbourne's playing at halftime. Wow. What a choice that is.
How old is he? He's going to be, 70? How old is he?
The last I knew he had dementia. All of a sudden now he's performing the halftime show in the opening game of the year. Another thing to really be careful of here, too, is the fact that defending Super Bowl champions who annually open up on Thursday evenings, the first game of the year, have done extremely well over the last 19 years since they started this whole thing. And we'll see. I tend to agree with Sean's assessment, but we'll never know. What scares me there, like Sean said, was all the money and attention being given to the Buffalo Bills. Anyway, we're talking college football today. We're going to have 2 free picks for you. One in the SEC between Kentucky and Florida, which Sean will be covering. And I'll be covering the Arizona State and Oklahoma State game. But before we get to that, tell the folks where they could find you, Sean, and how you've been doing of late, which you may have coming up.
Yeah, so you got me on. I'm with you. Picks and parlay, sports capping. A lot of sites, Twitter, Mr. Sean Higgs. So give me a follow there. I do a daily live show, 7 days a week, 12 noon Eastern, midday money. A lot of free picks there. And college, nice start, 59% to start the season in college.
Beautiful.
NFL college football, a lot of games this weekend. Of course, Major League Baseball, I'm doing well, having a nice season. So what's there to say? I'm excited. Yeah. I don't have to worry about NBA till April or May next year because I'm going to have baseball, playoffs, NFL, college football, college hoops, March Madness, and then I'll worry about NBA. Then I'll worry about the NBA.
There you go. In any event, you could find Sean, as he just alluded to, at picksandparleys.net. I'm also a handicapper at that site. And Sean does a morning video every Monday through Friday anyway, at picksandparleys.net. And you could find it right there on the homepage. You do that live, right? Too, Sean?
Yeah, it's live, 12 noon Eastern.
So you could go to his Facebook page or whatever means you need to do when it comes to streaming. And I would highly, highly suggest he does a great job filling you in on the games of that day, giving out some free picks, and he does awfully well, as always. All right, let's get to our free picks. The Kentucky Wildcats and the Florida Gators. And Florida upset win last week. I guess you can call it an upset, right? They're only a 2.5 point dog, 2 point dog or whatever, but they knocked off a pretty darn good team in Utah, which a lot of people had as a sleeper to get to the college football playoff and probably the favorite in the Pac-12. You could put that to rest now in terms of the national championship aspirations.
Yep.
You know,
Goodbye.
hey, by the way, I can't wait for the expansion to 12 teams for that reason alone. You know what I mean, Sean? You lose one game and you're done for the most part.
Sides here.
Unless
I
you
am
play in
against the
SEC.
expansion.
Yeah. So,
no expansion for me, Ross. I mean, we saw Utah. And listen, they were the dog. You went to favor everybody, all the hype. They could have almost pulled it out. You didn't.
Yeah.
How about Oregon? Get blitzed.
Yeah, that didn't.
Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame was barely. I mean, Ohio State was toying with them. I mean, I had Ohio State. We had them here. I thought they were going to, bad showing by them. You can't tell me you're going to find 7 teams, 8 teams that are compete. I don't.
Yeah.
It's going to be a joke. It'll be like every other contest where these guys face non-conference teams, and your Bamas and Georgias and Ohio States win by 20-something points. It won't be competitive.
Yeah, but you know what? It takes away a lot of the controversy. And anytime you give us more games, come on, buddy.
Maybe 2. I might be able to do 2 teams. I can't do them all. I don't. Right. How about we, real fast, and I'll get to Kentucky.
Sure.
Baylor plays BYU this week, right? Big 12 champ team coming. What happens when BYU beats these guys? We're going to hear about how Oklahoma State or these guys should be in the.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Alabama as one of the teams every year.
I know. BYU is a good team. They're ranked in the top 25 for what it's worth. So anyway, get to your pick here, Kentucky and Florida.
So, I had Florida money line the other day. I like them here. It was a 3.5. It's kind of tricked up here to a 5. And my initial liking of it, even on the look ahead, was like, hey, Kentucky's ranked for whatever reason. I don't know why. The running back's suspended. He's not playing. He's the only reason these guys kind of win a game because their quarterback threw for 80 yards last year when these guys played in a letdown spot for Florida. But on the flip side of that is, yes, Stoops brought a vanilla offense to Miami, Ohio. You didn't see much. What concerns me here, 50 yards on 26 rushing attempts. I don't care how conservative you go. If you can't get a running game going against the MAC, I think you're going to have a problem here. Your quarterback isn't. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. He can throw for 300 yards. That's fine. I just think the Gators, that's a huge win for them, right? The new coach, that kind of momentum carries over. I don't see a flat spot game 2 years ago. They still have their top, what are they, 5-star type players here. The quarterback looked pretty good, right? 100 yards rushing, 180 receiving, looks pretty good. He likes Tebow, right? It's his idol. Where's his number? He brings that little flair to the game. He looked pretty good. The defense made a huge stop. And let's be honest, they came back and scored late, right? It was a pretty good grinding kind of game. So maybe you want to look at the points here, Kentucky. I don't think so. But for them to even have the shot at the interception in the end zone, they had a broken play, Utah, from what, the 50? Like what the heck happened? Nobody in the middle of the field, the quarterback takes off. You're not going to get that here, Kentucky. They're not pulling that. They don't have the offensive line, 4 new starters. I'm not expecting. I think Florida defense will, get them here. And a little revenge for last year on top of it. I think it's be a double-digit win for Florida.
What do you got as a line?
Got a 5 here, 5 and a 5 and 2 and a 52.5, a 5.2.5. I almost said each 52.5 on total. And I see a 5. There's some 4.
You don't want to lay 52.5. So Florida minus 5.
I'll say, I'll give a little bigger one for the video just in case. I think they should win by 10. I don't think, they should. I'm taking a favorite. I'm not expected to be close. They should win going away and not worry about it. And I think they're gonna. I think the offensive line is rebuilding Kentucky. Your best running back is not playing. Your quarterback is questionable in these kind of roles where he's got to have it all on his shoulder. Give me the high-flying Gators. Gators are pumped. Unranked. Again, worrisome, yes. Unranked at number 12. And I'm not really a big ranking guy, but I like to see unranked favorite. But then a team unranked is catapulting 20 spots. That little, not what I like to see.
Buddy, I trust the odds makers a heck of a lot more than I do the pollsters, and we saw that last week again. Some of these teams that are overrated, and a team like Florida that nobody expected a lot out of, Billy Napier taking over at Florida with huge success he had at Louisiana Lafayette. Yes, granted, the Sun Belt is nowhere near in comparison to the SEC.
Gotta win.
I get-
Still gotta win.
Yeah, I get that, but the guy knows how to win. And
Yeah, exactly.
and you have no concern over the fact that they just, had that big game win over Utah
Again,
that's okay.
you bring up their coach. I think he's kind of a level-headed kind of guy, a business
Yeah.
kind of guy. So no, I don't. I think Florida is kind of a good team anyway. I think they were just, they were favored, and then it's the hype machine on Utah that flipped that line. Everybody's Utah. I like Utah. I think down to Florida, tough game.
Yeah, I think Utah will be a major player in the Pac-12, but beyond that, their aspirations at this point will probably be get back to the Rose Bowl and take on a Big Ten opponent and
That's it.
show their wares there. All right, I'm going to take a look at the Arizona State and Oklahoma State game, Sean. And this is an intriguing matchup because there's a lot of unknowns here. Arizona State coming off a win 40-3 over Northern Arizona last week. And again, that's an FCS opponent. But some positive signs there because they struggled at times offensively last year. And as a result, Herman Edwards brought in Brian Billick, the former Baltimore Ravens head coach and Super Bowl winning head coach at that as his new offensive analyst. He also has a new offensive coordinator in Glenn Thomas. Now, the early returns were good, but then again, you face the FCS opponent. On the other hand, Oklahoma State, a 58-44 win last week versus Central Michigan. That game easily sailed over the total of 58. I thought
it'd be an under. I thought it'd be like a kind of a lot of rushing game there. Oh, I was totally wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a surprise. Look at the high score didn't surprise me. The magnitude of the high score did 102 points. I don't think anybody would have guessed that. But by any stretch of the imagination, they did gain 531 yards in that game. On a negative note, the Oklahoma State defense with a new defensive coordinator. Remember how good they were last year on defense? Well, Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator from last year's team, he jumped over to Ohio State, and you saw how well the Buckeyes played defensively the other night against Notre Dame. Yeah. I'm not so sure how good the Ohio State defense really is, or is it because Notre Dame's offense leaves a lot to be desired? Having said that, they lost a great offensive or defensive coordinator. Yeah. Veteran senior quarterback Spencer Sanders, 28 out of 41 for 406 yards and 4 touchdowns. I look for him to have a big game here as well. And, I just think that this is going to be another high-scoring game, not to the extent of what we saw in Oklahoma State's season opener against Central Michigan, but still, it's a reasonable total, I should say, at 57.5, with all considered. And I'm going to go over the total in the Arizona State, Oklahoma State game. That's Arizona State, Oklahoma State over 57.5. And Sean Higgs, he likes the Florida Gators minus the 5 over the Kentucky Wildcats. You can find me at rbwins.com. rbwins.com is where all my premium paid selections are. I started out the college football season 4-2. That gives me a 40-28 run, 59% since last year. That'll make you a lot of money, folks. Again, go to my website, rbwins.com. All daily packages, single game and multi-game packages, guaranteed. You don't win, you don't make a profit, you don't get your money back, but I'll credit your account that exact amount of your purchase price, and you can use that toward any future purchases. Any which way you like, I should say. Hey, and also, all new subscribers, people who have not registered at my website, which takes all of 45 seconds to do, I'm going to give you a $100 sign-up bonus just by registering at the website. So a lot of good things. rbwins.com, college football, the NFL. Sean, I'm excited. Any final words before we go?
Folks, don't run a bet every single game on the board. Relax. It's a long season. It ends in February, just so you know. Football ends in February. All right? Don't.
Yeah. The opening week of college football and NFL is usually tough because we don't have a lot to go on. Alls we
Yeah.
have, it's like picking up a magazine, picking up these annual magazines and try to make an assessment that way and seeing what they did last year. But until they actually get on the field, if you concentrate on just beating the number instead of trying to brainstorm your way through and assess each roster, you'll be much better suited for it. And don't forget my words when it comes to college football. Trust the odds makers more than the pollsters. Think like a bookie, and you're going to be one step ahead of the average better. Until the next time, for Sean Higgs and Ross Benjamin, I'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless.